format?
It take a bit of teaching, to be honest, but once you're doing it, it's fine.
Yeah.
That was probably live, actually. Hello and welcome to the United Stand. It is Tuesday night. It is July the 4th, Independence Day to everybody in America. Happy Independence Day. Cracking film and apparently a true story, according to Draughty Devil. The aliens came and Will Smith saved mankind. But who's going to save Manchester United's transfer window? You like what I did there? You like what I did there? Leaked it all in. I have got Rodney on the show, and I call him Mr. Velvet with them velvet tones. But I know there's lots of nicknames out there. But how you doing, Rodney?
I'm not too bad, Mark. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, actually. You know what? I mean, I want to talk about Morata because obviously there's been some developments in relation to that. But first of all, I wanted to start off with about the transfer news. I mean, I know we are getting frustrated because, you know, I think it's... I mean, I want your opinion on it, Rodney, but I think it's obvious that Woodward has failed. And Mourinho wanted more in than now. We don't know the reasons for that failure, but he definitely did. But, despite Woodward's failure, I cannot see a situation where we start the season without 4 new signings. I can't. I think they will happen. They're probably going to happen later than we want. But we're not going to be in this situation. And I think United fans, it's hard. I do empathise. But I can't see us not having 4 new signings at least by the time we play West Ham.
I have to agree. I think the frustration that fans have kind of displayed online that I've been seeing on Twitter and just listening to the show yesterday, I think we have been kind of like pups yearning to be fed as fans. We expect our team to be built upon in terms of the success last year, and we expect new players to come in and actually push the team onto, well, 1 top 4, but 2 to win the Premiership. In terms of the lack of transfer action, I mean, I can balance it off. I mean, I, as a fan like you, am frustrated, but it's still in the early stages of July. So as much as I dislike the fact that we haven't actually purchased anyone apart from Lindelof, I'm kind of hedging my bets a little bit in terms of hopeful that by the time the tour comes around, we should have at least 2 new players, and by the start of the season, 4 new players. But I am definitely frustrated with what I would perceive as Woodward's inability to do his job. And I think if anyone else were in his position, they would have been sacked or at least had stern words said to them by the owner and definitely the manager. And I think Mourinho's right to do so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not totally... I've got to be honest, I'm not totally convinced we'll get 2 in because we've got... what we got? 3 days till Friday. We're going on Sunday. We're training at Old Trafford on Saturday. We could do it, but
we could.
Go on.
No. I'm just saying we could do it, but I understand, like you, the timescale is very tight, and it would be miraculous to actually have more than 1 transfer happen within that period of time. But I'm fingers crossed at the moment.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely get 1 in. And just to bring that in, Morata, the update with Morata is that he is forcing this move to Manchester United, that Real Madrid, 1, wants a lot of money for him, and 2, actually want to keep him. Not necessarily to play up front every week, but they want to keep him because he is a Spanish international. He is consistent when they use him. He's the perfect, player off the bench for Real Madrid. They want to keep him, but Morata doesn't want to stay. He's been promised the number 9 shirt at Manchester United. He's been promised the opportunity to lead the line in a top European side. He's hungry for it. He wants it. He's forcing the move. I want him, Rodney. I'll be honest with you, but I know a lot of United fans don't. But this is music to my ears. A player who actually wants to come to Manchester United. And you know what? Whether you like Real Madrid or not, and I know they only want to keep him as a bench player, but he wants out of Madrid to play for Manchester United.
I mean, I'm glad that he wants to come. In terms of the news, I'm wondering why it's taken so long for him to have made this statement, or if he hasn't already made it, why is it just coming into the kind of press now for us to kind of hear about? I think as United fans, we have to understand one thing. When we deal with Real Madrid, they will treat us with total disregard because of the way we handled the Ronaldo deal with them. And on top of that, the De Gea situation last year. So this is a player that they probably didn't even think twice of. If it was any other team going in for Morata, I think he would have already signed for them by now. But because it's us, they're playing hardball, they're being difficult. The president's coming out with comments about he's not received any interest, he doesn't know any contact from the club. We have been talking about Morata now for the best part of 2 months. I would be baffled that if any media outlet wasn't aware of the conversations that have been happening on the United stand, happening on Twitter, that weren't aware that Man United fans wanted Morata, that the club possibly want Morata, and why that deal hasn't gone through already. So that, for me, I'm still baffled, because I'm thinking about your tweet. 48 days, 48 hours. It's the signing that we're always going to make, but hasn't happened. I think I made reference to him last week as being like the character in the film The Tourist, trapped in an airport waiting to be collected. No one knows where he is. If we can get him to Old Trafford and give him a number 9 shirt, I think that's the start of the things that we need to see in terms of movement forward. But in terms of Real Madrid, I think because we're dealing with them as a club, it's going to be very difficult and drawn out.
Interestingly, I was just clicking away then, because I can actually give you all a Morata update. I've just seen it on Twitter there, and he is actually just posted on Instagram, and he's on a boat with his missus. So he's certainly not on his way to Old Trafford, which is... is he a smokescreen, though? Is he a smokescreen? Because we've been saying it for a long time now. No, what's true and what's not true? I think Perisic, I'm pretty nailed on. We're trying to do that deal. Di Marzio more or less confirmed it last night. We know Mourinho. I mean, you can only deal with facts. I mean, I used to work in a job where it was all about evidence, and you've got to deal in evidence. And the evidence is Mourinho definitely went to watch Ukraine v Croatia at the end in the international break at the end of March. That was about, and everything points to Perisic there. Di Marzio last night said that we're bidding for Perisic. So that's evidence as far as I'm concerned. I think Di Marzio's credible. Morata, where's the evidence about Morata? I mean, I think Di Marzio might have said we liked Morata, so there's a little bit there. But I mean, I do think we're in for him. But having said that, I wouldn't be shocked if he stayed at Real Madrid, because it's been that sort of summer. But do you take that as a positive or a negative? Does that worry you that this, we might not get Morata?
The fact that he's on a yacht somewhere with his wife, does that worry me? You could say yes. I mean, every player's on holiday at the moment, and they're sending tweets and messages about what they want to do next season. I'd be more convinced about the signing happening if we knew that he definitely handed in a transfer request. We definitely knew that the club had acknowledged that he has put in a transfer request. That we definitely knew that Manchester United has submitted at least a ballpark figure to say that this is close to the figure that they value him at. We've got no idea. And you talk about proof and evidence. We definitely know Woodward was watching the Lions tour in New Zealand. So he wasn't doing the job that everyone think he was doing. I think Man United fans have probably been more active in talking about players coming in than the club themselves. And it would seem that if we're talking about the facts, Woodward hasn't been doing his job. Because I don't understand how, as we move towards the tour, as we move towards players coming back from the break into pre-season, that he's halfway around the world watching rugby, which has got nothing to do with Manchester United. I just don't get it.
Yeah, it is interesting. Just for those who've just caught us a little bit late, because I know people do, we start at 8:30 every night. You should be here at 8:30. But we've been talking a little bit about how you feel about transfers, which we're going to talk in a moment. I've got a theory in relation to what Rodney was just saying there. But if you have joined us a little bit late, there has been an Instagram post from Morientes. He does remind me of Morientes in a way. Morata,
he does.
Morata on a boat with his wife. Is it an old photo from his honeymoon? Is it one where he's on it now? Is this all a smokescreen? And that is where we're at with Morata. I mean, the update today was that he's forcing a move, and this will, I mean, it was 72 hours yesterday, so it must be 48 hours again. Bloody hell, it's like deja vu. It's always 48 hours. Thursday, there's a lot of people. I actually tweeted it off my account. I heard that something was going to happen tonight with United. Now, that was from the same person who told me about Lindelof a week before he signed. So, am I surprised nothing's happened? No, but I'll feed out what I get, and maybe there is going to be some big news. I don't know, but it doesn't feel to me like United are close to a deal, Rodney. I don't know about you. But as you said there, some people are on holiday. But the reality is, with every passing day, we get closer to that flight to America. And my experience with tours are, when we go on tour, everyone else goes on tour. I can't think of a signing we've done on tour for many years. Many years. I mean, somebody said Schweinsteiger or Schneidlin. Well, that was done before we went on the tour. And that was 2 years ago. I can't think of us signing a player on tour. So we might be waiting till August.
I mean, if we are waiting till August, this doesn't play well into the mindset of Man United fans in terms of thinking about how we move forward and strengthening the team. I have linked, I mean, in my mind, with all of the media frenzy and the conversations that we've had on this channel, is Man United are the one club that players and agents kind of raise the skirt, show their ankle off and say, are you interested? Before they get a counter offer from their main club. And I would hate to think that is something similar to the Morata deal, which is why I'm worried that Woodward is halfway around the world, because we are in for him. And I think I said this last time, that we should go ahead and do the deal. We paid a lot of money for Pogba. It was meant to be the marquee kind of signing for last year, which is fine. He's come in, he's settled now. Hopefully he'll push on. Everyone knows that we didn't score enough goals last year. Everyone knows that we had more chances than we converted. We need a number 9. You've identified the number 9. Go and get the number 9. Why play hardball with the figure? If Real Madrid are valuing at 80 million, pay the 80 million. You know, if they say they want De Gea, I'll say, no, we'll pay you the 80 million, take it or leave it. If they don't want it, go somewhere else. And the longer you go into the season, once players or teams are back on tour, we're then going to get into another situation where the media are going to say, right, everyone's on tour, we can now throw another round of names. That Man United definitely need a striker, and we'll be linked to Harry Kane again, we'll be linked to Lukaku again. I'm surprised we're not linked to Diego Costa at this moment in time, because we could be linked to Daffy Duck. That's how many people we've been linked to. That's the part that's frustrating. I'd rather that we were bold, made a signing, and then we were next. We can go on to the next thing. And it's for Man United fans. We have ups and downs. At the moment, I'm kind of even keel. I think at the weekend I was kind of delirious, thinking we were going to sign everyone. I actually had a dream. I'll tell you about later.
Maybe after 9. It's a great point, that is, though. It's one that we've not brought up before, and I think I hope everybody else picked up on it, because I want to go over it. Where you said, United should be a club that, because of the size and status of us and the history and everything and the money we've got, we should just lift our skirt, show a bit of leg, and the player goes, "Oh, I want that." Unfortunately, again, dealing in evidence, we've lifted our skirt to people like Ramos and Fabregas over previous summers. And Ronaldinho, and it's not just Woodward. It happened with Ronaldinho as well. It's happened with numerous players. You could even say Griezmann this summer when we've got Mourinho in place, and it's not been enough. We lift the skirt and they go, I'll think about it all summer, and then no, I don't fancy it. Or in the case of Griezmann, yeah, I really, really like it since last November. Oh, I've got the transfer ban here. They're going to pay me a little bit more. I'm just going to stay another year, and I don't like that, because I'm old school, Manchester United number 1 over anybody. But we've lost our way there, and I think everybody would have to agree that I mean PSG's transfer policy is very, very, they're not a massive club with massive history. Their transfer policy is they don't leak to the press until they've pretty much got an agreement from the player that they want to come to them. Real Madrid pretty much the same, although it did go wrong with De Gea, but I think that was them pulling out, or a technical difficulty, because De Gea definitely wanted to go. But United, we seem to. I mean, to be fair to United, some of it's just press stories. I mean, we had Michael Keane, apparently he snubbed us today. What a load of nonsense. But there is a lot of nonsense, but there is facts that we were in for Ramos, we were in for Fabregas, we were in for Thiago, we were in for Renato Sanchez, we were in for Griezmann, and these players, for whatever reasons, they had a little look, were interested, then fancied something else, and that is something that you could level at Woodward. We could, I don't think he's that bad, but I think the United's transfer policy, it does drag on too much, and as I said about Perisic. And as you said, Rodney, about Morata, these players, look, we're not going to be held to ransom. That's fantastic. But we are now approaching pre-season. We've probably been negotiating for weeks for these sort of players. It gets to a point where the player's got to force the issue, because United can keep bartering. But if the player says, look, I'm off, then it makes it a lot easier for us.
It does, and and this is the thing. If this was a player in a Premier League club, I mean, you've only got to look at. Let's take Southampton for example. For the last 3 seasons, there's been a player at that club that has wanted to leave. You've heard them come out. They've said they're putting a transfer request. They've said they're going on strike. They put in performances that people have questioned. Now, this isn't necessarily to say that that's going to be the case for players that we've looked at abroad. But I think when we actually look at those players, the players that have not come to us, they've been marquee players. They've been the Galactico players that we've tried to get from the Barcelona, the Real Madrid, and even, Atletico Madrid may not be the marquee club in the terms of prestige, but it's in Spain. So a player will look at the climate, the salary, the lifestyle for their family. If we are not attracting those players, then we, one, need to do something about our scouting network. And we can't just leave it to the chairman who's going to go along and wave a wad of cash and say, come to us, we can pay you more money. This is the thing that I have with Woodward, because he talks big. He wants to be like Florentine Perez, have a Galactico approach and mindset where he can do that and say, these players come to us, we can get them. When really there needs to be a systematic approach for Man United, that they scout players, not just from youth, but across Europe for specific positions. Remember Mourinho's quote, I employ specialists. That's the quote he gave us when he said, I want to make sure I've got a left back who's got a left foot and a right winger who's got a right foot, not moving people over the place. Everyone who watches Man United knows that Mata should not be playing out on the wide right because he's left-footed. One, whenever he goes wide, he has to check inside on his left. We don't get crosses in, therefore we slow up the play. Mourinho must have given a list with someone on that list for Woodward to get, whether it be Perisic or anyone else. Woodward should have delivered by now. So it's either you want to be a Galactico CEO and act like Florentine Perez, or you want to play hardball. But whichever one it is, choose that path and stick to it so that we know which one it is. Because, if again, I said last week, if we'd have got Griezmann, we'd have been all dizzy. We could have bought in Fellaini's twin. We wouldn't have cared. But we didn't get Griezmann. And now we're thinking, who can we get? And the closer we move towards the start of the season, in terms of the caliber of players, the pool will diminish and the price will go up. And the price went up for us on Fellaini. When we could have paid 24, we paid 27. And that I don't like. And I think Woodward needs to really be careful that we're not caught out again. And we need to move fast.
Master X47 Gaming says Morata's announcement will be happening in the next 24 hours. I hope you're right. We've got Rodney on. Obviously, you can put your questions to Rodney. I've seen a super chat there. We'll definitely get that super chat back in a minute. But I'm just going to prepare Rodney for the next thing I want to ask him. Saga Khan and both Mo Sana have said, what do you think is going to happen with the number 7? So have a think about that for a moment. What I wanted to say in response to what Rodney was saying there, I still am positive, and what the positive I take from where we are now, which is basically at the weekend we said we've got a week left. We're now halfway through the week. There's no signing done. We are going on the tour on Sunday, and the hour, it's hours now until we go on the tour. It's not days. It is days, but you can almost count it in hours. I just like the fact that we're not linked to anybody really, and I just wonder if there are. I think all bets are off, and I think maybe Nainggolan could happen. Maybe Fabinho will happen. I mean, maybe we'll just end up with Matic, Morata, and Perisic. But whilst we don't know, I find that quite exciting. And I'll go back to what I said at the start. And for those who missed it, a couple of things. Morata has put something on Instagram on a boat with his wife 2 hours ago. So is he on a boat? That doesn't sound like he's coming to Manchester. And to be honest, I'd rather be on that boat with his wife if you look at the picture. And two, whatever happens with this transfer window, however long it takes, I'm convinced. I am absolutely convinced. And I know Arsenal have signed Lacazette, who for me is the French Defoe in a pub league. He can't even get in the French national team, and he's 26. Don't care unless they spend 50 million on a new backbone. I ain't worried about Arsenal. Whatever happens, I am convinced we will have at least four signings by August the 12th when we play West Ham, and that's all that matters really. Ideally, and Mourinho will back this up, he wanted them in by now, we all did. But who knows what the reasons are. I still am 100% confident we'll get them signings in. If we hit West Ham on August the 12th or September the 1st, and we have only signed one or two, then I think it's open season. But I still trust and I'm still hopeful that we will get one of the players that I really, really want in the midfield, Nainggolan or Fabinho, and I'll be very happy. And I think also, as Rodney said there, if we got Griezmann, we'd have been in a different situation, and he led us up the garden path and bottled it. And that has, I think, messed up a lot of our transfer summer. And I said it at the time, so it's not, after the horse has bolted. I did say on the very day, this could have a major impact on our summer, and I think it maybe has. Anyway, back to the question, Rodney. Number 7, which is quite nice because I finished on Griezmann there. Do you think we'll fill it this year, or do you think we'll leave it? And if we do fill it, who do you predict will take it?
Well, I've got 3 names actually that I'm two we already have that play for us. I think Mata or Mkhitaryan could play the number 7 role, and that is dependent upon the players that we bring in. If those 2 players are given the freedom to play within the middle of the park and use the skills that we know they can have or that they possess, I think they'd be ideal for number 7. But if we're bringing in a player, the one person I look at, and I think it is at a club where he's been linked to another club, not ours, is Douglas Costa. I think he's been in and out of the Bayern Munich team, touted as going to Juventus. I'm not sure if that deal is definitely going through or there's been some hiccup, but I think we were linked to him previously, and I think he's the kind of player who is technically gifted that can either float in from wide or play in the middle and be the ideal number 7. The number 7 needs to be, one, cute enough in terms of his passing, but also a goal threat. And I think Douglas Costa offers that, Mata offers that, and Mkhitaryan definitely offers that. So those are the 3 names that I think could possibly fill that. And if it's not those, I mean, when Griezmann didn't turn up, and I'll go back one step. When we had Memphis Depay, I think we should never have given him the number 7 shirt. I think we should have retired it until we had someone worthy to wear the number 7, because he should, for all of the performances that he gave us, it wasn't a number 7 performance. So until we actually get players in that fit the formation that we want and allows those individuals who have got flair to play in the middle of the park, then I wouldn't be interested in anyone else. But those are the 3 names that I put forward.
Interesting. I honestly don't know. What I would say, I honestly don't know. We could sign. We could give it Perisic. I don't believe in signing anybody and giving it, even if it. I think Griezmann, yes. Ronaldo, yes. I mean, Griezmann came 3rd in the Ballon d'Or. Ronaldo's won it. So them as number 7, I understand, but I agree. I mean, I said it at the time. Giving it to Memphis and people like Michael Owen and that, I don't agree with that. Internally in the club, I think Rashford's not ready for it. I don't think Martial's had the season for it. Mkhitaryan didn't really have the season for it. It's a massive shirt to me, so I would probably keep it vacant unless we're going to do something huge.
Yeah, you know that in basketball they have like a Hall of Fame where they retire shirts until someone worthy can come along and take that shirt, because it is iconic for Manchester United and it means something to the fans as a number 7. And to wear that shirt, you need to be a game changer. You need to be a goal scorer, and you need to be a crowd pleaser. And if you only have 2 of the 3, that's not too bad. But if you don't have any, then you can't wear that number. Yeah. Choose another number. Choose 14 or 13, but not 7.
I don't really think it's a shirt for potential either. I think, Rashford springs to mind, but he's not the finished article yet. I think you've got to wear it and you've got to befit it. That's my opinion. But couple of super chats. Shori Corey, he's always negative, but he contributes and makes the super chats. We've got to read it out. He says, United's a small club with 3 UEFA Champions League history. What history do you have? Oh, I think you've just answered your own question there.
Is that a question?
Yeah. And the big pupster, thanks for this and thanks for the last one as well. He says, we won't get Morata. It's going on too long. This is just a way of him getting a new deal at Madrid. But poor show from Woodward. We have money and we should spend it. Well, that's not been mentioned that much, to be honest, but we do have a lot of money. It was well documented that if we'd been in the Europa League, we would have had a different list. We would have had less money. Adidas would have reduced their money. We've got a lot more money to spend, and at the moment we're not spending it. But I still think this time I'll be stunned. I'll be absolutely stunned if we get on that plane on Sunday with no signings. But it looks like Rooney will be on that plane, Rodney.
Oh my gosh. I saw something on Twitter with him in the new kit, and I wasn't too pleased. He doesn't look too happy to be wearing the kit. To be fair, um, I don't think he's worth a spot on the tour. I don't think he's worth a spot in the team, and I don't think he's worth a spot in the squad. I think he could, for me, spend the next year in the reserves. I don't care if he's getting paid £300 a week. He hasn't offered anything to United. He looks out of shape. The testimonial display, you can't really get away from that. There was no hiding, and what made it worse, it was on terrestrial television. It wasn't on some remote channel where you have to kind of search for clips. It was on ITV.
Yeah, there was no excuse for that, was there? I know we all talk about decline, but he got put in the pocket of Jamie Carragher, and Carragher's been terrible crap for years and retired. But
and retired, and that's some of that, and retired. And there were players on there who have been retired many years that looked far fitter and far more skillful. Rooney's time as the beacon for Man United is gone. So I'm upset with David Moyes and Woodward for giving him that contract and that level of salary, because he's adamant that he wants to stay and see out. The rumours are that he doesn't want to leave. Well, if that's the case, fine, stay. But you won't be first team. The media won't talk about you. The fans won't talk about you. We need to move forward, because he didn't offer anything for us last season. So I shed no tears in terms of someone who isn't playing first team football but is getting paid a huge amount of money. Not one bit.
I get a lot of direct messages on my Twitter account. Some of them are pretty good and some of them are untested. I got one tonight from somebody saying that his mates had been on a plane with Rooney and Rooney says he's off to China. If that comes out, if that becomes true, I think we'd all be very happy because we'd get a transfer fee for Rooney as well. I suspect he won't be off to China. I really don't. And AS from Spain, just to update you with this, they've said Manchester United made a bid of close to €70 million for Morata on the 23rd of June. It was rejected, and they plan to make another important offer soon. Well, that's like 10 days ago, and we're going to do one soon. I mean, what's going on? What's going on?
We're doing it by fax in the modern age. We're sending this. This
pigeon.
Is the bit that
I think we're doing it by pigeon, Rodney. The fax broke last time, so we're doing it by pigeon. Yeah,
pigeon. Yeah. So that's the bit that makes me laugh. I think you put an offer in, and then there's a leak that we're going to actually submit another offer, but we haven't It's either we want the player or we don't want the player. Be decisive, man. We're a massive club. We're a massive club with prestige and history. We shouldn't be doing deals that are so, I don't know, even not so much transparent, but, we're speculating, the press is speculating. We need to be decisive, identify the players that we need, and I'm sure Mourinho has done that, put a bid in, purchase the player or not. If they don't want to come, go to the next one on the list. It's that simple. It's not rocket science.
And he's meant to have quite a big list as well, because Matic is apparently third on the list, so,
Well, I mean, but this is the thing. Matic was third, so who were the first two?
I would say probably Nainggolan, and hopefully, well, it can't be Fabinho, because I think Fabinho would come to United. He's been quite open about that. So,
well, this is the thing. I mean, this is a player that's been linked in the press, saying he wants to join, says he'd like to work for Mourinho. Whether the rumours are true or not, but it's consistently the same thing. Have we put a bid in for him? Have we actually submitted anything? What are we waiting for? Are we waiting for the last minute? I mean, if they're treating this like, some poker game in Vegas where you kind of hold your cards till the very end, we're not doing very well. We really do need to be decisive. I've got every confidence in Mourinho. I do. I think he's a manager that the media don't like. The Chelsea fans obviously have turned against him because they rewrite history. But for me, he's always been a winner. And he always tells it as it is. And we may disagree with his methods. We may disagree with some of the things that he says. But he's quite determined in actually ensuring that the team deliver, because he understands that from the fans' point of view, we want to win things. At the end of the season, we can talk, at length about what should have happened. And we're upset now because we haven't bought anyone. But we won 3 trophies last year. That's the fact. He can sit back and go, yeah, everyone can talk about what we want to buy, but we actually have 3 trophies. 3 more trophies than Liverpool, 3 more trophies than Arsenal, 3 more trophies than Man City, and they all finished above us. So, you know, Woodward, get your finger out of whatever you're doing and get on with it. You know, we need...
It's just impatience, isn't it? And there's nothing wrong with being impatient. You know, we're Manchester United. We are impatient to get back to the top, and we all know we need to sign players. Just because the squad isn't good enough. It's not because we're a buying club. We do need to sign players. There's not enough youth or talent in the squad to make us challenge, and we do have to buy players because we bought badly under Van Gaal and Moyes. But you know, that impatience is fine. I do think we'll be okay. Marco says buy Iron Robin for 2 years. I read it as buy Iron Robin for 2 years. I wonder where he's going. He's going to prison, but I think he does mean buy him.
Buy him.
Max Crow says, what does Rodney look like? Well, you know, mysterious. And Sean Barnett's just types that he's farted. But we're very close to 4,000. I've got a big announcement to make, actually, and I'm going to hold it back until we hit 4,000. So get sharing, get liking, and let's see if that happens. It's quite a good one. It's a very good opportunity if people want it. But let's take some of your questions. I want to get some of the questions up. One theory I did read today that made me laugh. I mean, wouldn't, you know, anything's possible in football. That Ed Woodward likes to sign a Galactico, and the reason he's not signing these players is because he's not impressed. He doesn't want to sign Perisic and Morata and Matic. They're boring, which a lot of us think. And he's purposely not signing them. So Mourinho's like, I'll just get what we want. And then he can go and buy himself Bale or something like that. But I don't think there's any truth in that, obviously. But it did make me laugh. Because, you know, in fairness to Woodward, I think he does like the Pogba signings. He does like that. You know, it's an ego thing, isn't it? If you're the CEO of Manchester United who makes the biggest signings ever, then, you know, that has got to make you feel good. Darren H says, thanks for the contribution, Darren. He says, what world-class player should we sign? And somebody just said, if you want to make a super chat, it's the $ at the bottom of the live comments. But please, if you do contribute, make sure you leave us a question because we'll give you a shout out for it. So what world-class player should we sign, Rodney? I mean, I suppose you've got to be realistic because we could just say Messi and Ronaldo.
I think in terms of the world-class players, it would be really impossible, virtually impossible, to prize away any of the top 5 from the clubs that they're probably at right now, if we're being realistic. Even though we've been linked to Bale consistently, I think the rumours about Bale, he probably thinks that Real Madrid don't want him. I think we need to be looking at the next level in terms of talent and potential and making an assessment as to how they can fit in. I would like Dembele from Dortmund.
Yeah, I do like.
I think the Mbappe one. I think with Mbappe he's so kind of enticed by the Barcelona and Real Madrid. So if we put a bid in, I don't even think he'd look at us. But I think Dembele, could we entice him? And this again with youth, would he be too young to have a number 7? Could we say that, you know, you'd be the brand name or the brand face for Man United for the next 4 or 5 years? This is the bit in terms of, and when you say about superstar player, that Woodward is trying to sign, the shareholders and the sponsors will be looking to say, well, who can we put our face to? It has to be someone that has cachet. It has to be someone that has a following, and it has to be someone that's kind of cutting edge in terms of their play. And I think he's probably...
I've said it before a few times, and I know he probably wouldn't play number 7, and he'd want the number 10, and we'd need to get rid of Rooney. James Rodriguez is only 25, and you know everyone thinks he's a lot older. He's only 25, and I don't think we really appreciate in the UK what a big star he is in the wider world, especially South America. He's huge, and he's such an easy deal. Well, I say easy. It's dealing with Real Madrid. Apart from that, I think he'd love to come to United.
Yeah, again, Mark, you know, there's a player who's on the bench.
Yeah.
He's on the bench and you get rumours and you're like, if those players are not happy at Real Madrid, put in a transfer request. How often do you hear that? Where they say that they've actually said, I'm fed up with sitting on the bench. I'm fed up with the sunshine. I don't like the food. I don't like getting paid loads of money and not playing football. I'm off. They stay there until those clubs say, we don't need you anymore. We found someone else. So as much as I agree with you in terms of Rodriguez, I think if we were going to go for him, one, we'd need to get some kind of indication that he wants to join. And again, once he joins, we're now thinking, well, who's going to leave? Because it wouldn't just be Rooney that leaves, because he would want to play first team football all the time. And we've already got Mkhitaryan and we have Mata. So we'd lose two players. And oh gosh, there you go. Well, there you go.
There's Liquid Hill actually says that James turns 26 before he kicks a ball, which is true. There's a really good comment by Josh as well. A few comments below. I am reading them while Rodney's talking, and I'm trying to remember some to read out. And he said, you know, these players who go on holiday before they sign for United and everything like that, what happened to the days where you go, if you want to sod off on holiday, we might go and sign somebody else? And to be honest, I think 20 years ago that would work. They'd be like, where do I sign? I think football's changed so much now, and I'm not even being critical of them. So many players, all they're bothered about is the money. And I think United's a nice addition, but if PSG are offering a little bit more, or, you know, it's not the same anymore. It's all about the money. I mean, look what Donnarumma and Raiola did. You know, they were willing to walk away from AC Milan at 18, and they played it perfectly, and now he's going to get a load of money for it. So I just don't think football's like that now, and I think if there were players like that, then we would try that trick. But, you know, we could easily have said to Morata, well, if you want to go on your honeymoon, we're going to go and get Belotti. I know he was on his honeymoon as well. We needed to find someone who wasn't getting married. But yeah, I think that's just a good point. But I don't think there's many players around now. I think it sort of died with the class of '92. Really, those players that would just walk through walls to play for United are quite rare now.
Yeah.
Mark,
can I say one thing? You know, we've got a chief scout.
Yes,
Ribalta.
Juventus, yeah.
Yeah, I was when I saw that on Twitter, I thought to myself, well, he's joined obviously under Mourinho. Mourinho must have said we need a new chief scout. Is this a long-term thing in terms of the game plan that Mourinho wants in terms of bringing players in? He would have seen the way that Woodward has dealt with transfers before. He would have guessed or predicted that his list would not have been the one that, in terms of purchases, Woodward wouldn't have delivered. So he's now gone round or acquired a chief scout who will do the scouting for United, because I don't think we have a scouting network. You know, I think the United fans are probably more... We're scouting for players. I think Woodward wants to be the Galacticos CEO. He wants only top brand players. He doesn't actually want to do any scouting, and he just wants to bring in brand names, which doesn't fit.
Too busy, isn't he? He's too busy to scout.
Well, I mean, he may be too busy to scout, but at the same time, the fact that he's bringing in a chief scout, what was the scouting system within Manchester United? I mean, we're a massive club. There must have been a system in place for us to scout players, you know, like the Dembélés, and see them early on and say, right, we need to get these guys at United a season or two before they make it big, because the potential was already there. It's not as if they've just turned up. They had these potential for quite some time.
Yeah. Stephen Lennon's made a contribution. Thank you, Stephen, for the super chat. He didn't leave a question, but if I see it and you want to put it up, please do. Yeah, I mean, just on that, we have one thing United have done very well over the last couple of years, even when Van Gaal here, is acquire youth talent. I remember us getting Olasunde, the American lad. There's been loads. Chong, we've bought another 2 this week. Whether that's anything to do with the Juventus agent, I don't know, because he might have said, there's 2 good players here, get them. We are buying up a lot of young talent, around 16, 15, 17. Obviously, they're not ready for United yet, but we've made a few signings like that, and that's one side of things that I wouldn't, you know, you can't be negative about. That's very good. We want young players to come through. The reality is, though, we do need to sign players at the moment who are game ready, because the squad just isn't quite good enough. Just to update people who've joined us a little bit late, Morata is apparently forcing this move with United. He wants to come to United. Madrid don't want him to go. They want to keep him, and they want a lot of money for him. But there is an Instagram post of Morata on a boat with his wife. I suspect that's from his holiday, and that's not where he is, just to give you my opinion, for what that's worth. I do think he'll sign for us before the weekend, but when, I don't know. Right, I don't think we're going to quite hit 4,000 tonight, so I'm just going to announce this thing that I've been waiting to do, and not even Rodney knows what it is, but
I'm waiting.
But basically, what we're going to do next season is we are, and it is very selective because obviously we do the Skype show, the Q&A on a Saturday night, which the watch-alongs. Everything like that is very global. That's what the United Stand, the global community. We're not one of these channels or outlets that are just very focused on you've got to be from Manchester or anything like that. That's great. We respect them, but we're a global club, and that's what the United Stand's always encompassed. But what we do want to do is get some footage and stuff from games. Not fan cams, because that's been done before, but we do want to do stuff in and around, well, not in Old Trafford, they won't let us do that, but around Old Trafford. We've got the camera equipment and camera crew to do it. What we're looking for is someone or somebody. I mean, the opportunity is there that your videos will go up in front of, how many subscribers have we got? 107,000. You know, you're going to be instantly a star. It's going to be very helpful if you go to Manchester United games regularly, preferably away games as well, because we want to sort of interact with fans before the game and ask them questions and things like that. But we will provide you with the crew. It simply is you. That's all we need. You to be there with the microphone, answering fans, talking to us. Obviously, when we do the watch along, we can Skype you at games before and everything. It's a really good opportunity. So if you're looking to get into the media, or like me, you're a little bit older and you fancy it, the opportunity's there. How do you get in contact with us? That's a good point. I hadn't thought that through. Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Mark Goldbridge and send me a DM. You can follow us on Twitter at United Stand MUFC, all one word, and send us a direct message there. Or we do have an email address, which is all soccerboxtv@gmail.com. So if you are somebody who regularly goes to Manchester United games, or you live in the Manchester area and you can get to the ground, this is on a plate. You know, you're going to be speaking in front of thousands of people. We'll provide you with all the equipment and everything like that. It's not fan cams, but we do want interaction with fans. We used to do it a little bit with Zara before, where before the game she'd be speaking to fans, asking specific questions. That's what we're looking to do next season. You're up for that, Rodney? You're not near Manchester, are you?
No, I'm in London.
Oh, well.
But I will be going up, not every week, obviously, just because of work, but I will be going up to as many games as I possibly can. So yeah, that sounds good. I like that.
Yeah, well, you never know. We might do it on a rota basis if somebody can't do it every game. But we certainly want to try and cover every game. Yeah, I think great. If anyone's looking to get involved, like I say, drop us an email, soccerboxtv@gmail.com, or send us a direct message at United Stand MUFC, or even just leave it on the comments and we'll reply to you and get in contact with you that way. But no, it's a fantastic. You know what? All I would say is, if somebody had done this 3 years ago when I was starting the United Stand, I'd have jumped at it, because you've got a ready-made audience there and a massive opportunity to go and have a career. I mean, Zara did it ages ago. We weren't even very big when Zara did it. She's now working for Man United and the BBC. We're massive compared to what we were then, without blowing the old trumpet, because it's your channel and it's a massive opportunity. I think it's the best prize we've ever given. So get in contact, but you know you've got to want to do it. Calvin Carrick's made a contribution. How you feel about lack of English contingent? Rooney, Young and Smalling all leaving. Would sign one English player, Barkley or Dyer, this summer. That's a good question, Rodney. There is I suppose we've got Luke Shaw, Rashford.
Yeah.
But we've always had quite a few. I mean, I agree that Young and Rooney especially should go. If we're bringing in an English player, I think he's hit the nail on the head. There's only... I mean, what I would say tentatively is, I remember when Mourinho being linked to Oxlade-Chamberlain around January time. So, you know, that's another potential. Yeah.
I personally would go and intercept Oxlade-Chamberlain from if the potential in terms of the rumours about him going to Liverpool. I would actually intercept him on the way and say, you need to be with us. And I would go to Everton and get Mr. Barkley away and say, come and be a part of the next big thing. Because I think they're two young players who want to win. Definitely, I think Oxlade-Chamberlain's had his time of being a nearly man at Arsenal, and he wants to do something, which is good for him, and he's only 23. And I think with the right manager, he would do wonders. And I think the same for Ross Barkley. I think he had a bad time at some point throughout the season last year, but I think he would. I think he definitely would fit into Manchester United.
Yeah, I agree. Just reading through some of the comments there. Look, there's a lot of people saying they'd be interested in it. Look, just look at me, look at Rodney, look at Ross when he comes on. If you think you can do that, and we'll certainly, if you've got it in you, we'll find it you. You know, I started off, if anyone ever saw the first Soccer Box video, you'd go, that was crap. You might even still think it is, but I know what to do to get you good if you've got it in you, as arrogant as that sounds. So if you fancy it, get in contact with us. You've got to be confident, you've got to want to do it, but we can make you better than you are if you've got that. And there's a lot of people interested. And as Rodney said there, if he really is interested, then, you know, we'll sort that out and speak to him about it. But it doesn't have to be one person. The great thing about the United Stand, apart from me, and I know I've been doing it forever, we do like to get people on. That's like Skype Goldbridge and everything like that. So if we had 10 people and it was rotated and there's somebody covering every game to speak to the fans before the game and stuff, then we'll do it with 10 people. It doesn't have to be one. So get in contact. There's loads of ways you can do it. And yeah, like Lynn says, it's a great idea and it's what the United Stand needs. And we do want to give you a bit from the ground and everything like that, because, you know, it's the next logical step for the channel. So get in contact if that's what you want to do. And there's a lot of people saying that'd be interested, so we'll take it from there. Great, really happy about that. Well, Rodney does Tuesday night, so please do drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. I try to let Rodney do all the talking because I know you've probably all just been relaxed for the last 45 minutes. You know, it's like a deep hot bath, isn't it? So relaxing. But pleasure to have you on as always, Rodney. You are on Twitter,
cheers, thank you.
Give a shout out for it.
It's at Rodney Cyrus.
At Rodney Cyrus with a C, isn't it?
Yes, with a C, yeah.
Okay. Rodney's on every Tuesday if you enjoy it. Obviously, the United Stand is on every night at 8:30. We've got the Transfer Daily at 7. And I'm convinced at some point we will be going live at lunchtime or maybe 11 o'clock at night. Something's got to happen in the next 3 days. I'll eat my hat if I had one if something doesn't happen. But we'll wait and see. Kieran Birch has already emailed me, so, you know, soccerboxtv@gmail if you want to email us, or get in contact through Twitter, or I'll keep an eye on the comments once they open as well. But yeah, thanks everybody. Really enjoyed tonight, and a lot of people, and Mohammed said it as well, I've got to say it, a few people have said they think, do we think Dybala will be the signing? No, probably not. But Ben says, good show. Rodney, you're excellent. And kudos to Mark for the show.
Thank you.
Well, thanks to everybody in the live comments. We can't do it without you. It'd be pretty boring if we didn't have the live comments. So big thanks to you. You're the ones that, you know, get the conversation going when we've spoken about those first few topics. And thanks to Ed on the moderation tonight. I haven't seen Mad Marcus, but maybe he is on there. But cheers to Ed for doing that. And if Marcus is on there, thanks to him as well. And we'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 AM unless something happens a little later on. But really good show, and look forward to hearing from some of you who are interested in that little project we're going to start. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Rodney.
Cheers, Mark. Thanks a lot.